my loves, welcome back to another video. I did ask all of you which video you would like to see next, and most of you, in fact almost all of you, came back to me saying that you'd like to see a video about pantry staples and some simple recipes. I think heading into the third or fourth week of lockdown, everyone is looking for some recipe inspiration and some low-effort meals. This video is very appropriate at this point of time because I actually just had another eye surgery and hopefully the last one. And since I'm not allowed to go anywhere near the stove at this moment, what I'm going to share with you today are no-cook recipes made with things that you probably already have in your pantry cupboard. If you take a look at my pantry at this point of time, you can see that we are pretty low on quite a few things by now. When we talk about the staples you need to have in your pantry, we're not talking about each and every item you buy or keep, but are instead talking about the need to have at least a few items in each category. Now let's take a look at some of these categories. I suggest breaking down your essentials in the pantry into 10 sections. The very first one is lentils and beans. We keep a variety of dried and canned beans and lentils at home. Lentils are such a blessing to have as they have a long shelf life and can be cooked in so many ways. It doesn't even matter if you toss a little remaining amount into another batch of lentils when you cook it. As long as both are fully cooked, it only adds flavor, never subtracting from it. Now, canned beans can mean anything from chickpeas to kidney beans to cannellini and lima beans. And what is great is that most of these can be substituted for another one in the same category quite easily. Now, let's say you're out of chickpeas. Well, then you can swap it with cannellini beans. For your curry, your black beans can be used for a baked version, or even kidney beans for hummus. If you want to try making this amazing kidney bean hummus, simply put the beans, onion, and garlic powder, salt, cumin powder, and paprika into the food processor with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and 2 teaspoons of water. And if you have some tahini on hand, go ahead and add some. It's going to add to the flavor. Taste, and it is ready to serve. Serve it with crackers and crudité, or take it to the next level. Smear some on a tortilla, fill with lettuce and grated carrots, and top with some grated cheese and some mixed salsa, or any salsa that you have at home, even pico de gallo. And my husband loves roasted lime rings in his. And that would make a great family meal. The second category are your basic root vegetables, such as onions, garlic, and ginger. Having some of these can sufficiently flavor your food, even if you do not use the particular one you're accustomed to. For that matter, spring onions can replace bulb onions quite well. And a good tip is to pre-mince them and preserve them with a little bit of olive oil. I keep minced garlic and homemade ginger paste in my refrigerator in these little containers, and they last for ages. And in my freezer, I keep blended onion and garlic, which has been pre-cooked and is a perfect base for any curry. Now the third one is milk. This may not be the right time to look for fresh milk or dairy milk, so use the more hardy pasteurized milk for coffee, tea, and cereals. And if you're running low on this as well, heat some water and mix it with condensed milk until it resembles milk. Use this hot or cold with your cereal and you will love it. You won't even need to add any more sweetener. But there is a simple recipe that I will share which doesn't involve cooking as I talk about number 4, which is the next category, rice and flour. Rice, wild rice, quinoa, couscous, all these can be used as grains accompanying your meal. Similarly, flours can also be mixed and swapped around. There are so many variations available online, so don't fret if you're out of one or two. Now, here is a rather unusual replacement to your rice meal. Rice puffs are a great solution if you run out of rice. Start with a bowl of chopped tomatoes, pre-boiled cubed potatoes, chopped onions, chopped green chilies, and cubed cucumber. Also add chopped coriander and lemon juice. Sprinkle some salt, cumin powder, cayenne pepper, and a little mango powder if you have some in hand. Mix these ingredients and then add your rice puffs and roasted peanuts. Toss well and serve immediately. Now let's move on to category number 5, which is seafood. Seafood is rather expensive at this point of time, and it's not easy to come by either. But to ensure we contribute to having our omegas, we substitute fresh with canned. Tuna, salmon, sardines, and anchovies are great sources of nutrition. They last long, are easy to store, and are even easier to cook. My favorite is tuna. I like getting the tuna chunks in olive oil. Pick up a packet of coleslaw or using a mandolin, slice some vegetables like carrots, cabbage, and whatever else you have on hand that you like in your coleslaw. And this is actually Jamie Oliver's slaw recipe. He uses salt and pepper to spice it up a little. I make it exactly the way he does, but then I take a step further and I top the slaw with some tuna. This has become a family favorite for a quick tuna salad lunch with toast or crackers or bruschetta on the side, and it's great as a spread on some bread on a sandwich as well. Now, category number 6 is sugar. Do you know I usually have 5 types of sugar at home? Now, we have white sugar, brown sugar, caster sugar, palm sugar, and sometimes even jaggery. But exchanging one for the other is usually no problem. You can use a dry blender to turn the regular sugar into caster sugar, and I can easily cook Thai food with regular or brown sugar instead of palm sugar. It's all about getting by during this critical time. And I think it's been a good lesson for us all to learn that we are able to manage with less than we probably thought we could. I think I'd like to be just a little bit more minimalistic once things go back to normal. Now, the next category is oils. Just use whatever you have available. The important thing is to have some sort of oil, butter, ghee, or even margarine available. Oils also act as a great preservative for other foods, which brings me to the next point. If you do manage to get some fresh herbs from the store and you have to preserve them for as long as possible, you can chop them up and freeze them in an ice cube tray with some oil. If you're unable to get fresh herbs, then you can just use dry herbs to add a pop of flavor to your cooking. Again, many dry herbs can also be used interchangeably, and if you just get a few blends, it'll suffice for most dishes. Another category that is essential is jarred vegetables and dressings. Jarred vegetables such as sun-dried tomatoes, olives, jalapenos, and you get multiple dressings in stores. These can add so much flavor to simple recipes, even if you fall short on some of the ingredients. And if you do fall short on dressings, then make this one from Pantry Essentials. If you want the complete recipe for this, it will be in my blog for your easy reference. And number 10, lastly, there are these hardy vegetables and fruits and sundries that I would say do not really have a category of their own, but you need to have a mismatch of. Besides onions and garlic, I keep potatoes, sweet potatoes, turnips, dried tofu, peanuts, etc. You get what I mean. Now, if you have any of these to spare, make a Malaysian favorite which is called rojak. Rustically chop your turnip, dry tofu, and also some cucumber, any unripe fruit that you have at home, anything tangy like mango or papaya, and mix everything with a rojak sauce. I will leave you the full recipe for the sauce as well. Add some crushed roasted peanuts and mix well. Topped with more crushed peanuts and serve. You can make this as mild and as spicy as you wish. Now, this category also includes canned and hydrated mushrooms. Not everyone likes mushrooms, but if you do, or you're willing to try, then there is a huge range of mushrooms available. Have a few varieties handy. These are interchangeable in most dishes and really help increase the quantity when you're low on fresh vegetables. I add mushrooms to everything from curries to Thai food, pasta, and even instant noodles. And within these categories, there are also many items that surprisingly can also make great desserts. It's nice to have something sweet every once in a while and treat yourself during this time. I often make a lentil dessert using mung bean, the green lentils, and this recipe is vegan and very healthy, and I will leave you the recipe. If you have some canned fruit cocktail or canned pineapple, drain the can and add a small packet or can of cream and some sugar. Loosen the cream with evaporated milk and keep refrigerated until ready to serve. This lasts a few days in the fridge. You can also top a waffle with this for an awesome dessert. My mini adults loved this as kids and still do, in fact. Cereals make a great dessert too. Cornflakes, for example, even rice puffs. Since I won't be cooking today, I will leave you these recipes on my blog. Well, my loves, I hope this video will help you think of substitutes when cooking instead of worrying about what you're not able to get your hands on. This is a very stressful time in our lives, but let's keep positive, keep motivated, and this too shall pass. So this is Ravina saying stay indoors and be safe.